Mike is here. It's gonna be a sad episode.
Yes.
It it's been a sad couple the last few days for me. Chris and I were at Comic-Con
Yeah, let's start happy.
two ends. We had a good time. The press passes were good. Definitely a lot bigger than the last couple of years. They've held it at the Hartford XL Center. The Foxwoods is definitely the place for it. The line was like out the door all day. It's good to see all the comic fans coming out and supporting the show. A lot more comic artists, writers this year. We got a lot of people we talked to. Hopefully, we get them on the show. We interview them and stuff like that. They seem really excited to talk to us. It was just a way better venue this year. It seemed more. It's easier to get to than the XL Center was, and it's turned into a pretty legit con. It's only going to get bigger at this point. I was really surprised to see how many people were in line all day. We got there at 9:30. There was a line backed up to the box office, so there had to be at least 200 to 300 people in line. And by the time we left at like 4 or 5 o'clock, there was still a line backed up. So that was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And yeah, so hopefully we land some good interviews from that.
Yeah, we got a lot of people we talked to that work in comics, that are making indie comics. A few cosplayers we talked to. It was a great experience to get a bunch of contacts and find people that we thought had some cool work to share with all of our listeners. Everything about it was very positive, with the exception of our lunch break, which we'll talk about in a minute. The center was amazing. Like I'm still kind of thrown back about how big this place was. It was like they took a casino out of Las Vegas and just plopped it in the middle of Connecticut. We had a cool little shopping center that they had that we walked through. Everything about it was really cool, but the show itself was really great. I liked how it was, compact into one area. The Kids Con was the only thing that was kind of like separated from everything. And yeah, like I've been saying over and over again all week, like, it was an amazing show. We're thankful to the Comic-Con people for having us, and hopefully next year we'll be back as press. And just great time. I look forward to talking more to the people we met.
Yeah, we met some cool people. A couple people do covers. One of the guys does the art for some of the Rebirth books, which is cool to see. So he does some work with inking for Tomasi and Superman, which is awesome. Hopefully he gets on the show. Yeah, it was and there's like a mall in Foxwoods, which is crazy too. There's just like, you just turn a corner and there's just a mall there. It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, so Chris and I are standing in line at Johnny Rockets, which usually for me would be a joyous, or sitting in Johnny Rockets and like, wow, this day can't get any better. And then usually you read things on the internet and you hope that they're not true, and especially when something like this happens. And we have talked about this happening before. Like, some friends are like, I don't know if you've ever been prepared for that. And I'm like, probably not.
Well, just to cut you off real quick, I remember we were sitting there, and I open up Facebook, and the first thing I see is it's not much of a surprise. Adam West passed away. And
yeah.
I had like this look on my face, and he just goes, "What's wrong?" So I'm not saying it to like confirm it. And I was just online for the next like 5 minutes, just looking through legit websites, trying to see if it was real.
Yeah, so
to me like, God damn it.
Ruined the whole day, kind of. It changed the whole tone for the day. Yeah, he was 88. He had been diagnosed recently with leukemia. Apparently he passed away peacefully with his family, but yeah, man, he was he was the light of the Batman community, and it was so good to see him making a comeback because forever, uh, there's that documentary you can find about Adam West, and if you watch the Batman the animated series, Beware the Grey Ghost, it's almost shot for shot of what happened in his life, where he started Batman. He was king of the world for those 3 seasons, and then he kind of just dropped off and never got a job anymore because people were like, "This guy is he's just Batman. That's all he is. That's all he'll ever be." Obviously, he got some more work with Family Guy, so he was known as Mayor Adam West for a while. Then he was doing the comeback with the cartoons, and that was awesome. And hopefully, we haven't heard anything about it, but hopefully they did some of the voice work, or he finished his voice work for the second part of those movies, because that first cartoon they did was great. But yeah, it's hard to imagine he's gone, because the last thing we saw with him was that cartoon, and he sounds the same. He didn't sound any different. But yeah, it sucks. So I'll be binging the '60s Batman episodes for a while. But
I mean, my first real experience with Adam West was Family Guy. I mean, and being of that age when that show became big, so I got to know him through that. And for the longest time, like I think most of us have, there was a period of like, oh, that old Batman TV show, and then I got older and I started to, and I'm not gonna say I came about this myself. It was through people talking to me and listening to podcasts. People started talking about the genius that was that show, and I went back and watched it, and I came to the same conclusion. Like, that show is just so great in every way. It's funny, it's lighthearted, it's revolutionary. There's not enough positive to say about that show and his impact on the comic community. As a matter of fact, we went back the night after the show. After driving for 2.5 hours, we got back. We had something to eat, and we stood there and had a few beers and watched some Batman '66, and it
still holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the funniest shit I'll ever watch, and it was the funniest stuff back then too. I mean, it really is. It was ahead of its time for sure. The comedy that he brought, and his chemistry with Robin, it was awesome. But I mean, there's an episode, I can't remember which episode it is, but he's Fat Man on Batman showed the clip. They did a nice tribute. Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman did a nice tribute to him.
That was Hollywood Babylon.
Yeah, Hollywood Babylon. It's on Kevin Smith's YouTube page if you watch it. But it's a scene where he's like, the commissioner and the deputy are like, yeah, we're going to hold the phone up to Batman. They're on the phone with Bruce Wayne, and they think they're on the phone with Batman, and they think they're on the phone with Bruce Wayne. They're like, let's hold up the 2 phones together so you guys can talk to each other. And Bruce Wayne's standing there holding both the phones. So he like has a conversation with himself while Robin's standing there, and he's like, Bruce Wayne? He's like, yes, Batman. He's like, I need you to. His tone of voice changes a little bit, but it's like the facial expressions and stuff, and the commissioner's like standing there like listening to the 2 phones while they're having the conversation. It's just a really good moment, and he was just he loved that character. It sucks that he had to pass, but
if you get a chance to watch that eulogy, because Ralph Garman was good friends with him from what I can see. They did a pilot for that podcast to be a TV show.
Yeah.
And he does this. He came in and did this skit, and it was one of the most brilliant skits I've seen in a long time. Most stars of that era did some sort of spoken word album. William Shatner being the one that comes to mind immediately. So they did a skit where it was Adam West doing his spoken word album, and they called it West on West. And he was doing Kanye West lyrics. And this was only a few years ago, and he was still on point. He was hilarious. It's unfortunate we didn't get more of that.
Yeah, that was, and he was just there to make people laugh for sure. Yeah, all the man. If you want a good laugh, just watch all the '60s Batman stuff. Is on Amazon Prime. Even if you just want to, I mean, each episode's like $3 or something like that. But then the Batman animated series is free on Prime if you have a subscription. But you got to watch the Grey Ghost episode. He also appears in Goosebumps in an episode, actually an episode about comic books. And I think Goosebumps used to be on Netflix. I'm not sure if it's on Netflix anymore. But there was an episode about I can't remember the name, but he plays a superhero in a costume. This kid gets abducted by a villain that he sees in like a comic book, and Adam West basically plays Batman. But it's like I don't know, I forget what the costume is. He's like a kangaroo or something. I can't remember it, but it's like he pops up and Goosebumps is the kind of like the satire it was. It was kind of cheesy and corny just because it was out of the 90s, and the way it's shot and stuff, it doesn't age very well, but it's almost like you're back in the episode of the '60s Batman. And you hear his voice, and you instantly know it's him. That's Adam West. But yeah, he loved. If anybody asked him to do something, he would just do it. Just to make people laugh. It was great. Yeah. Also, the Batman movie, the '60s Batman movie, is on Netflix too. So watch it. It's good. Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb, and if you don't understand that joke, you need to watch that movie. But
yeah, so I'll basically just wrap it up with, I mean, it's tough. This is like one of the first celebrity deaths that like actually impacted me.
Yeah.
And in a weird way, we owe this show to Adam West, because Mike and I wouldn't have been friends if it wasn't for our mutual love of Batman, and specifically our mutual love of Adam West's Batman.
Yeah.
It was one of the things we bonded over early. So I'm thankful for him for that, and I'm thankful for everything he's done, including his stuff with Family Guy, like I said. I know a lot of people get that. This show is obviously dedicated to him. I had best wishes to his family. I know he lived a long and full life. And this is actually going to be a really short show for that reason.
Yeah.
We just want to talk about this and then kind of do everything again this weekend.
Yeah, we obviously going to dedicate this episode to him. But yeah, we're going to talk about the comics that we read. I think.
So let's jump into that, and then we'll be out of here. Like I said, quick show.
And I did see some people online like, yeah, he was so great. I wish that they would do a comic book, and they do a comic book. It's '60s Batman, Batman '66 comic book. There has to be a few volumes out there. It started like towards the end of New 52. There's like crossovers. There's Batman 66 and the Man from U.N.C.L.E. There's Batman 66 and Wonder Woman 70 Wonder Woman. And there's Batman 66 and the Green Hornet crossover, where the covers of those books are done by Alex Ross, so they're fantastic. Like Six Batman, drawn by Alex Ross.
And
take my money.
It's worth pointing out that the Batman Green Hornet crossover is written by Ralph Garman and Kevin Smith.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yep.
But actually, funny story, when we were sitting there watching Batman, all drunk and whatnot, I guess I ordered Volume 1 because it came to the house when I got back.
That's funny.
But okay, let's talk about comics.
Yeah, so Batman had a pretty big thing happening in it. It was like the end of the overall story arc that him and Catwoman are. Well, he proposed to Catwoman, so we don't really know what's going to happen. So Batman 24, obviously the whole Doomsday Clock event's going to happen. But yeah, so Batman and Catwoman, it's never happened. It's one of the biggest. There's only like two momentous things happening in a comic book story that's been around since the 40s. It's either a marriage or a death. and Batman's had a lot of deaths. Almost every Robin at this point. So I guess they were like, well, we could kill Catwoman off, or they're like, well, maybe we could try to marry her. So she hasn't responded. That was a cliffhanger they leave you on, is she hasn't responded to his marriage proposal.
Oh, it'd be fantastic if they came back and she's just like, fuck no.
Yeah. Oh, hell no. Yeah, of course. I mean, like, why would she want to? We both read The Walking Dead.
Yes, I got it.
That was pretty cool to see Negan like stick up for Rick in that issue.
Yeah, it kind of showed him full circle. Like, he's kind of realized that he was a piece of shit. And for a minute there, I was sitting there going, like, because he gives this whole speech about, do you want to go back to the way it was when I was in charge? And it starts off like, holy shit, is he trying to gain power back? But then the speech comes all the way back around, and it's him being like, no, you're a fucking idiot if you want that.
Yeah.
And his whole monologue about fucking the foot was hilarious.
Yeah, that was really weird. It was like Kirkman just wanted to talk about having sex with feet, apparently. So
I know what I'm asking
He
Kirkman
just-
if we ever get to interview him.
yeah. What was that all about, man? So
tell me about
you have a foot fetish? Yeah. Robert Kirkman has a foot fetish, everyone. Spread the word.
Allegedly.
I haven't read Reborn. I haven't read Reborn or Paper Girls yet. Superman I've read, though. Superman is pretty good.
Oh, Superman. Yes, I just read that like an hour ago too.
And I don't think this has ever happened before. It kind of ends on another cliffhanger where Superboy gets like poisoned by what is it, Manchester Black?
Yes.
And he looks like evil now. So he almost has like I forgot what he calls the group of them, but they're like an evil Justice League or
Yeah, and they refer to him as Superboy Black.
yeah, Superboy Black. So that's it's pretty cool. So we're gonna see, and we all know Superboy wants to kill. So maybe that gets translated into or gets brought on with his evil zombie form, whatever the hell he is. So it's gonna be his dad like trying to just knock him out, and him trying to kill his dad. So. And I think they've talked about in that book where Superboy is more powerful than Superman. I'm not sure though. Like he has more potential or something.
Batman made the comment that he thinks he's more powerful than Superman.
Yeah, which really wouldn't make sense. The whole gene thing. If Superman and a human had a kid, I don't know how that would make him more powerful. But it's almost like the whole Vulturemite thing in Invincible, where he's Mark's dad had a child, a human, but Mark's still out there kicking Vulturemite ass. So, yeah, I think that's all I had.
Okay. I'll do two real quick and try not to spoil them for you. Reborn #6 I did read. All I'll really say is it's a just amazing ending.
Yeah, it's the finale, right? Because I see it's $6. I was like, damn,
Yeah,
double the price.
and it's double the book.
Yeah, okay, good. You better double my book for double the price.
And this isn't a spoiler, but it ends with end of book 1. So I think we're getting more.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And this was a common thread in last week's top 5 comics was endings. And Dark Knight 3: The Master Race had its last book as well.
Oh, it did, yeah.
Once again, this isn't the last Dark Knight book. It ends on a huge or like not a cliffhanger, but just it ends in a way that they can continue the story. And I really liked it. I thought everything about it was fantastic. The battle was epic. Just really great. I adored this book, and I'm really glad because although 2 not as bad as everyone makes it out to be, it still wasn't the first one, and this one kind of brought it back up to ish levels. Like, it's obviously not the greatness that is Dark Knight, but
Yeah.
Read Yokai Watch #2. I really love this book. I love Yokai Watch. Not much else to say. It just kind of continues the storyline, and it was a lot of fun. Especially if you have kids that are into that kind of thing, it's a good book to pick up for them. Avengers number 8. This actually picks up on. There were 2 Avengers book. Marvel does this thing where they do like .1 issues, and they're
Point one.
they're like a mini series inside of an ongoing. So the .1 for Avengers was going back to the Avengers, the second team that had Hawkeye and everything, and a story with them, and involved a character called Avenger X who could enhance people's powers, but she had to steal a life force from someone else to do it, and they thought she was good and finding out she was bad. Blah blah blah. She's back now in number 8, so that was obviously a setup for this, and Doctor Doom, the infamous Iron Man, had to come and save the Avengers for this one. And yeah, it was really good. This up-and-coming writer called Mark Waid is on this book. And
Yeah, indie writer.
yeah, I highly suggest it. It's a fun team. It's, Thor, Hercules, Spider-Man, Sam Wilson, Captain America, Vision, and the Wasp. And they meld really well together, and, I mean, you got a great writer and great artist on it. And then the last book that I fucking loved, Darth Vader number 1. And this book literally takes place immediately after Revenge of the Sith. There's a splash page right in the beginning that's him getting off the throne screaming no.
No!
And,
Of course there is.
Emperor Palpatine is basically scolding him because, Vader gets up and he thinks that Padme is still alive because that was the deal he made. That's why he's screaming no. And he gets all pissed and attacks Palpatine, and Palpatine kind of puts him in his place. And at this point, Vader doesn't have a lightsaber, and he's told how he's supposed to go find one. So basically, a Sith is supposed to steal a lightsaber and corrupt it. So there's no crystal that makes a red lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
In order for that to happen, you have to corrupt the lightsaber with your hatred.
With your emo?
Yeah, and that's what makes
hatred. Yeah, that's
makes
what
it red. So this at least this first storyline is him going off and stealing his first lightsaber. And there's a really cool scene where he has to attack these bandits, and he has nothing but himself and the Force, and he just kicks their ass.
They don't sell those at like Hot Topic, and they swap out the crystal for you. He just walks in, he's like, I have a blue lightsaber, I want a red one. Yeah, I can hook you up, dude. You need some socks too? No, I just need.
This was a galaxy far, far away a long time ago, so.
So Hot Topic is still
They
around.
didn't have Hot Topic back then.
Oh, yeah.
No, the book's really good. The kind of the birth of Vader is something I've wanted to explore for a while.
Yeah.
And, this is kind of doing it, and it's Charles Soule writing it, so it's good writing.
Yeah, it's good. He's a good writer.
That's really all I had. I haven't had a whole lot of time to read with the con and everything.
Yeah, we got a lot of indie books we gotta read. But hopefully we'll read them. I'll read mine before we do the interview, so it's fresh in my head. But yeah, once we get reading to those, we'll start saying if we liked them, if we didn't like them. Obviously not to the creator's face. We'd never do that. Always tell them that you like stuff. Just kidding. But yeah, so thanks again to the wonderful people at Comic-Con for having us out there. That was a great experience for us. Usually we're stuck waiting in the lines, and it's very bizarre to walk by a Comic-Con line and go in as early as you want with nobody in the con. That was a little strange to me. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, everybody. So do the quick ending. Just follow me at Fortress Chris on Twitter, and the show at facebook.com/FortressComicNews, and then YouTube at youtube.com/c/FortressComicNews. if you're watching us on YouTube, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, share with your friends. If you're listening on iTunes, or any other podcast service, please give us a review of some sort, 5-star preferably. And if you can, go on YouTube and like that stuff too, because there's also other content that goes up there that we do and have fun with. And
Yeah.
I think that's everything.
All right.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. Remember to subscribe to our channel. It should be right here. There's a little button. Yeah. Thanks for clicking that. Also remember to like and comment on our video. We love hearing from you and really appreciate it. Hope to see you next time.